detecting the end of file. So in C, there are two ways to detect the end of file. While reading the file in a text mode, character by character, the programmer can compare the character that has been read with the end of file, which is symbolic constant defined in a studio.h with the value stdio.h with the value -1. Okay, so what happens here in this while of one, so in this the loop starts, okay, reads a character from the file pointed by the fp, okay. C has sorry, here C is an integer variable. So what happens here, reads the character from the file pointed by the fp if c what if C double is equal to end of file, checks if the read character, what happens if the read character is equal to the end of file constant, which is what, -1. Okay, then break. If the end of the file is reached, it exits the loop and prints the character to the console. The other way is to use the standard library function EOF, which means file end of file, which is defined in stdio.h library. The f end the f end of file file fo end of file of is used to distinguish between two cases. When a stream operation has reached the end of the file, when the end of the file error code has been written as a generic error indicator, even when the end of the file has not been reached. The prototype FEOF of can be given as int FEOF of percentage FP. So here in the small example, what happens is FEOF of FP means what? Checks if the end of the file indicator for the pointed, so like check if the end of the file indicator for the file pointed by the FP is set or not. Okay. What happens here in this, while not FEOF of in this, the first line continues the loop as long as the end of file has been reached. Okay, then here we know what is this, in this reads the line up to what, 80 characters, okay, from the file pointed by FP into the str array. Next, prints the read the line to the console, prints the read the line to the console. So both the methods are used to what, iterate through file until the end of the file reached. Okay, both the methods are used and each of its own advantage. Okay, each has its own advantage. The first method checks the character read against a end of file constant, while the second method uses what, FEOF function to detect the end of the file. Okay, this method is more useful. So error handling during the file operation. This is the next concept. It is not uncommon that an error may occur while reading the data from or writing the data to the file. For example, an error may arise when you try to read a file beyond end of file indicator. Okay, what happens? Error occurs during file operations such as reading and writing. So when you try to read a file beyond end of file character, okay, then what happens when trying to read a file that does not exist, when trying to use the file that does not that has not been opened, when trying to use the file in inappropriate mode, that is writing data to file that has been opened for reading, when writing a data to file that is write protected. Okay, the function ferror is used to check. Okay, ferror function is used to check for errors in the string. Its prototype can be given as int ferror file string. Okay, it returns a 0 if no error have occurred and non-zero value if there is an error. In case of error, the programmer can determine which error has occurred by using this one, p error of. If occurred, what happens? We can use this function, p error of. So what happens? F error of is in C that checks the error in a stream. Its prototype is what? This one. Okay. Okay, as we know, it returns 0 if no error have occurred, or non-zero means there is an error. Okay, we can use this p error of is used for what? For the last error that occurred. Okay, for to get the description what actually occurred. Okay, or to find out the error. Next, after performing the file operation, what happens? The program checks the error using f error of fp. Next, so let's explain. I will explain this code. So what happens here? The code opens the file named what? Comment.txt. Kindly give the feedback on the book. It prompts the user provide feedback on a book and writes each character the feedback to file using what? F put cf of. Okay, each character it will going to write in the feedback array. Okay. Then what happens? After writing operation, it checks the error using what? Here we are used f error of fp. We are used a f error of function to check if it has any error or not. Error writing a file. Okay. It prints the error message using p error of along with the custom message. Okay, if an error is detected. Error writing in a file and exit the program. Finally, it closes the file. Okay. Next one, clear error of. This function, what is this clear error of used? Clears the, okay, as a function name suggests, it clears the error. So this is the prototype we used. Void clear error of file stream. Okay, the what is this? File pointer, I can say. The clear error clears the error for the stream pointed by the stream, and the function is used because error indicator are not automatically cleared. Once the error indicator for the specified stream is set, operation on that stream continue to return an error value until clear error fseek, fset post or rewind is called. What is that? The clear error function why we use is used to clear the end of the file and error indicator for a specified stream. Prototype is this one, and error indicator are not automatically cleared in C. Once the error indicator is set for a stream operation on the stream continue to return an error value until what happens? These functions is called. Okay. So used to check the error in the stream. So this is a simple example for that. So first what happens in this program? So the code opens the file opened comment.txt in a write mode. Okay, after that it checks, it prints an error message using p error. Okay, if it is for example here it checks, prints the error message. Okay, if the file opening fails, if the file opening fails, what happens? P error along with the custom message. Okay, prints the error message. Oops, error and error number of error. Okay, and exit the program. After each character is written, it checks the error using f error of. After entering all the characters using this for loop to the feedback array, it checks what it checks. It checks the character in the each character written. Checks for error using what here? F error of fp. Okay. Then if error detected, it calls what? If error detected in fp, it calls clear error fp. Okay. File pointer, it calls for what? Clear error function. Okay. To clear the error indicator and exit the loop. Finally, closes the what? File. So P error stands for print error. The print error function is used to handle errors in C program. When called, P error display a message on a std error describing the most recent error that occurred during a library function call or a system call. The prototype of P error can be given as void P error character message. The P error takes one argument message which points to an optional user-defined message. This message is printed first, followed by a colon, and the implementation defined using the message that describes the most recent error. If call to P error is made when no error has actually occurred, then no error will be displayed. The most important thing to remember is that call to P error does nothing to deal with what error condition. So what happens in P error? P error means what? Print error. Okay. So in C library used to handle the error by printing the message. Okay, describing the most recent error that occurred during the library function call or system call. The prototype is what? This one is a prototype. It takes the optional user defined message that is printed first. Okay, optional user defined message followed by the colon and the implementation defined message that is described the most recent error. It called when no error has occurred. It displayed no error. Okay. So we have this example. If the file opening phase, what happens? Okay, these are the library function we have using. So this one is what for what? ERRNO. Okay, holds the error code associated with the last error. Okay, and if the file opening fails, what happens here? Oops, error. Okay, or else what happens? And error number will print. Okay, here followed by a colon and the system defined no such file or library. Then sorry, directory. Now error number is printed to indicate error number associated with the last error. In this case, it's 2, which corresponds to no such file directory. Okay, that is error number. Kindly give the feedback on the book so that that is like user prompt. Okay. So it will check what happens here. It will take inputs. Okay. It will take the inputs. This code snippet demonstrates how P error can be used to give informative error message. So here we can see in the output, it is given a informative error message when handling the file related to error in C program. Next, accepting command line arguments. Command line arguments are given after the name of a program in a command line operating system like DOS or Linux and are passed into the program from the operating system. The main of can accept two arguments. First argument is an what? Integer. It's an integer. First argument is always an integer that specifies the number of command line arguments. Second argument is the full of list of all the command line arguments. The full declaration of main of can be given as like this. Okay, this is what? For what? Integer. Okay, this is the character. Argument is the list of command line arguments, and this is the integer value that specifies the number of command line argument. The integer args specifies the number of argument passed into the program from the command line, including the name of the program. The array character prints argv contains the list of all the arguments. So argument 1, argument 2, argument 3. Okay, that stores in the argv array. So what are the what are all the arguments we are presenting in command line argument? It will going to store in this argv array. Okay. The argument passed, this is the number of argument, and this much argument we can enter. Okay, from I is equal to 0, I less than argc. So argc means number of argument we should include. For example, if it is 1, it will check, it will allow us to input how many? 2 arguments. Okay, 2 arguments it will going to take. This is not x, this is I. Okay, this is I, this is not x. Function for selecting a record randomly. fccof is used to reposition a binary string. The prototype of fccof can be given as int fccof file stream. This is a file pointer, log, offset, into origin. fccof is used to set the file position pointer for the given string. Offset is an integer value that gives the number of bytes to move forward or backward in the file. Offset may be positive or negative, provided it makes sense. For example, you cannot specify a negative offset. If you are starting at the beginning of the file, the origin value should have one of the following values. Okay, origin value. What are the values? One is seek set. So here what happens? In fccof function is a C library function used to reposition the file position, reposition the file position pointer for a given string. Its prototype int this one is a prototype as we know. It used to move the file position pointer to the specific location. Okay, specific location within the file only. And stream. So what is stream? A pointer to the file stream where the respecting will occur. Repositioning will occur. Here the repositioning will occur. And offset means an integer value representing the number of bytes to move forward or backward in the file. And origin an integer constant specifying the reference point for the offset. It can be one of the following value. Seek set means to perform input or output on offset byte from start of the file. Like sets the file position to the beginning of the file plus the offset. Seek cur means what happens? To perform input or output on the offset bytes from the current position in the file, which means sets the position to the current position plus the offset. Next, seek set, seek cur, and seek end means what happen? Are a defined constant with the values 0, 1, and 2 respectively, which means sets the position to the end of the file plus what? End of the file. Now, return value we have. On successful operation of fccof, what will it return? In case of fccof return 0, successful completion or successful operation. In case of failure, it returns non-zero value. For example, seeking a file not opened in a binary mode may result in failure. Okay. Now, fccof it can be used to move the file pointer beyond the end of the file, but cannot move it before the beginning.